Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki. You are now standing on one leg only, which is your truthfulness, and you are somehow or other hobbling along. But coral personified Kali, flourishing by deceit, is also trying to destroy that leg. Please repeat after me. You are now standing on one leg only, which is your truthfulness, and you are somehow or other hobbling along. But coral personified Kali, flourishing by deceit, is also trying to destroy that leg. Purport. It's quite a long purport, so bear with us. The principles of religion do not stand on some dogmas or man-made formulas, but they stand on four primary regulative observances, namely austerity, cleanliness, mercy, and truthfulness. The mass of people must be taught to practice these principles from childhood. Austerity means to accept voluntarily things which may not be very comfortable for the body, but are conducive for spiritual realization. For example, fasting. Fasting twice or 4 times a month is a sort of austerity which may be voluntarily accepted by spiritual realization only, and not for any other purposes, political or otherwise. Fasting, which are meant not for self-realization, but for some other purposes, are condemned in the Bhagavad Gita 17 verses 5 to 6. Similarly, cleanliness is necessary both for the mind and for the body. Simply bodily cleanliness may help to some extent, but cleanliness of the mind is necessary, and it is effected by glorifying the Supreme Lord. No one can cleanse the accumulated mental dust without glorifying the Supreme Lord. A godless civilization cannot cleanse the mind because it has no idea of God. And for this simple reason, people under such a civilization cannot have good qualifications. However, they may be materially equipped. We have to see things by their resultant action. The resultant action of human civilization in the age of Kali is dissatisfaction. So everyone is anxious to get peace of mind. This peace of mind was complete in the Satya age because of the existence of the above-mentioned attributes of the human beings. Gradually, these attributes have diminished in the Treta Yuga to 3/4, in the Dwapar age to half, and in this age of Kali to 1/4 or a quarter, which is also gradually diminishing on account of prevailing untruthfulness. By pride, either artificial or real, the resultant action of austerity is spoiled. By too much affection for female association, cleanliness is spoiled. By too much addiction to intoxication, mercy is spoiled. And by too much lying propaganda, truthfulness is spoiled. The revival of Bhagavad Dharma can save human civilization from falling prey to evils of all description. Srila Prabhupada ki. Om Jnana Timirandasya Jnananjaya Shalakaya Chakshurul Militam Jena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhyeva cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna prasthaya bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swaminiti Namine. Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvisesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Srila Prabhupada ki. Just to repeat the translation again, you are now standing on one leg only, which is your truthfulness, and you are somehow or other hobbling along. But coral personified Kali, flourishing by deceit, is also trying to destroy that leg. Hare Krishna. So I seek blessings of all the Vaishnavas assembled here, all the senior Vaishnavas, Prajana Prabhu, yes, Gaur Krishna Prabhu, Dalbaldev Prabhu, Srinivas Prabhu, and everyone else and online, so that I may be able to speak some words through this mouth that make a difference in your lives, in your spiritual practice, and maybe through that and through your mercy, I get some benediction also. Alongside with this verse, as I said yesterday was the disappearance of Srila Mahesh Pandit and also Srila Udaranta Datta Thakur. So we'll talk about these personalities as well. So today I want to focus our discussion on a topic that sort of started off in my last class. Remember last class we talked about Christmas and we talked about the millions of killings of animals. So in this verse, especially in the purport, in this Happy New Year, mercy is really required. We talked about, we curtail the killing or the meat-eating industry. We can get that mercy, we can develop that mercy. So I just don't want to focus only on mercy, but following mercy with eagerness. Sanskrit term mercy, kripa, and eagerness is akuti, with feeling and with sincerity. So in this theme of the 4 regulatory principles that we've been experiencing in these Srimad Bhagavatam classes for the last few weeks, these 4 regulatory principles, austerity. So I'm going to ask, what does the Sanskrit terms austerity mean? Gaur Krishna Prabhu actually mentioned that in his class last also. Austerity, Sanskrit is tapa, cleanliness, socham, mercy, daya or kripa or karuna, and truthfulness, satyam. And if I may ask, which of the 4 regulatory principles are associated with each of these? So austerity or tapa, we follow the 4 regulatory principles. We follow the 4 regulatory principles, right? What are the 4 regulatory principles? No intoxication, no gambling, no illicit sex, no eating. So which one belongs to which austerity? Or which 4 aspects that Prabhupada has mentioned in the purport? Austerity, no intoxication. Cleanliness, no sex. Mercy, or kripa, no meat eating. And truthfulness, no gambling. Thank you. I needed to remind myself these things because it's important for us to understand that. So as I said, we talked in my last class about how the masses out there are killing unnecessarily for their tongue or so-called necessities of human life. In today's session, as I said, we want to focus more about that no meat eating or kripa, how to get that mercy. The Bhagavad Gita teaches us what we need to get Krishna Prem. At the end of the day, this whole process is there to give us that aspect of Krishna Prema that we're all hankering for. The yoga ladder, devotional processes, as giving us that. And then Bhagavad Gita ends with taking total surrender. 1866 talks about surrender to be without fear. Without the Bhagavad Gita having been spoken, we wouldn't get that mercy. So the Lord is so merciful, and He wants us all back with Him to our original positions. So who can bestow this mercy upon us all? How can we make quick progress on this path of devotional service? Any ideas? Spiritual master, yes, our spiritual master. So I've got a long list here, list of about 9 or 10, that can bestow some mercy upon us. Lord Krishna himself, spiritual master, somebody said. Vaishnavas, yes, devotees, all the Vaishnavas. Well, somebody said something? Tulsi Maharani, yes, Srimati Tulsi Maharani. She's actually, Prayojana Prabhu tells me, she can't help but give mercy. That's her nature, her character trait is to just give mercy. We circumambulate, oh, she takes away all the sins. We just simply pour a couple of drops of water in her plant. She takes away all the sins. That's it, you're delivered. See how much merciful she is. Phenomenal. Who else? Prabhupada, yes, indeed. Prabhupada traveled all around the world at the ripe old age of starting from 70 actually. And then struggling for a whole year in the winter, the coldest winter of New York, US. Struggled. Why? He sees the suffering condition of these mlechas and chandalas, that he calls them, that they need to be brought up to a standard, to a human being standard. Okay, I'm conscious of the time as well because we've also got a couple of personalities to talk about. So, Srimati Radharani, also more merciful, can be more merciful than Krishna. There are different reference points everywhere that somebody says, oh, he's more merciful than Krishna, or she's more merciful than Krishna. The holy name is more merciful. Yes, the holy name. Chanting Atan Bhagavatam, Srimad Bhagavatam, which we read and actually get the nectar. The 6 Goswamis, they have actually taken the instructions directly from Mahaprabhu. And who's more merciful than Mahaprabhu? Lord Nityananda. Indeed, Lord Nityananda. Narada Muni goes around, doesn't he? He asks, who is the most merciful? And he goes around and ultimately he comes to the point where he says, who's the topmost devotee of the Lord? The gopis. They are also really, really merciful to us, no? So yeah, through our own Guru Maharaj, through Guru Parampara, through the Vaishnavas, through Lord Nityananda, through the devotees of Lord Nityananda, they are really, really merciful. All of you guys are so merciful to me every day. I have very, quite a sharp edge sometimes and unnecessarily demand things on devotees, but you guys are so merciful to me. Why do we want this mercy? Why are we all here? There's such a huge world out there. Why are we all here? To obtain this Krishna Prema, love of Godhead. In his book, Bhakti Naipunya, the last limit of bhakti, His Holiness Gaur Govinda Swami Maharaj, disciple of Srila Prabhupada, talks about Prema Lila Tattva. Let me see if I can get that. And within that, he says, when Krishna manifests his transcendental Leela here, he does that through the Swarupa Shakti, the internal potency. But who knows this transcendental Leela Tattva? Only those Prema Bhaktis or Premi Bhaktis, dear devotees who have developed that Krishna Prema. They know the transcendental Leela Tattvas, Prema Leela Tattva. I've requested the Kirtaniyas kindly to go along with me to a couple of bhajans, where we'll be exploring this aspect of mercy. Why do we get this? How can we get this mercy? Through these bhajans. And we have an amazing, amazing personality that is very much knows the effect of actually getting to this mercy. And that is Srila Narottam Das Thakur. Srila Narottam Das Thakur has written thousands of bhajans, and he actually gets to the depth of this meaning, through the bhajan, he gets to the depth of the aspect of getting this mercy. So I'm going to read a little bit more. In his Prarthana, Lalas Mai Prarthana, the book, Narottam Das Thakur sings, Rupa Raghunath Pade Raho More Asha, Prarthana Koraya Sada Narottam Dasa. The conjugal loving leelas between Radha and Krishna are very deep and confidential. How can I understand such deep and confidential tattva unless I get the mercy of Rupa and Raghunath? They know it because they are prema bhaktis. And without the mercy of such dear, most intimate devotees of Krishna, nobody can understand this. Thus, Krishna keeps all this tattva with his dear devotees. That is Guru. So we talked about the Guru Parampara, we talked about Srila Prabhupada, we talked about our Guru Maharaj. Without surrender to the Guru, without surrender to the exalted personalities that are here within us, how can we get this mercy? We have to do that surrender. I'm going to carry on. So, we talked about taking that shelter. Let's take shelter from this Vaishnava Thakur, Narottam Das Thakur, and let's understand. I'm going to go through the translation first, and you can tell me which bhajan I'm talking about. So the translation of the first stanza talks about, when will that opportune moment come to me when there will be shivering of the body as soon as I chant Lord Gauranga's name? And after the shivering while chanting Hare Krishna, when will there be tears pouring down from my eyes? Yes, Gauranga Bolite, indeed. So I'm going to carry on with the translation. When will that day come when Lord Nityananda's causeless mercy is bestowed upon me so that my desire for material enjoyment becomes very insignificant? When my mind is completely purified, being freed from material anxieties and desires, then I shall be able to understand Vrindavan, the conjugal love of Radha and Krishna, and then my spiritual life will be successful. When shall I be very much eager to study the books left by the 6 Goswamis? One has to learn of the conjugal love affairs of Radha and Krishna through the teachings of these Goswamis. Narottam Das always wishes to understand this conjugal love under the direction of the 6 Goswamis. Now, before we sing the bhajan, there is in fact a purport to this lovely bhajan that His Divine Grace, our Jagat Guru, Srila Prabhupada has written. So I wanted to actually dissect that a little bit more so that we can extract the mercy aspect from this bhajan itself. It says, this song was sung by Narottam Das Thakur, a great devotee and acharya in the Gaudiya Vaishnava Sampradaya. The disciplic succession coming down from Lord Chaitanya, Narottam Das Thakur has written many songs which are recognized as authoritative by all Vaishnavas. He has sung these songs in simple Bengali language, but the purport, the deep meaning of his songs are very significant. In this song he says, Gauranga bolite habe pulaka sharira. One has attained the perfection of chanting when, as soon as he chants the name of Lord Gauranga, who initiated this Sankirtan movement, at once there is shivering in his body. This is not to be imitated. Sometimes devotees think, yes, I'm getting shivering, ecstatic symptoms. But actually, it is said that one doesn't even realize, one doesn't even actually know that they're getting the shivering and the symptoms. Are they ecstatic symptoms? This is not to be imitated. But Narottam Das Thakur is asking, when will that opportune moment come to us when there will be shivering of the body, as soon as we chant Lord Gauranga's name? And after the shivering, Hari Hari Boli Tena Ganabab Benira. While chanting Hare Krishna, there will be tears in the eyes. Then he says, Arakabi nitai chande koruna hoibe. We are asking about the mercy of Lord Nityananda. Nityananda is supposed to be the original spiritual master, Adi Guru. So we have to approach Gauranga Lord Chaitanya through the mercy of Lord Nityananda. What is the symptom of a person who has achieved the causeless mercy of Lord Nityananda? Exactly. No more material desire. You've been reading these notes. You're studying. Jagat Priya Mataji, thank you. Narottam Das Thakur says that the symptoms of one who has actually received the causeless mercy of Lord Nityananda is that he has no more material desires. Arakabe nitai chande korana hoibe samsara basana mora kobe tucha haibe. Samsara basana means desire for material enjoyment. And Narottam Das wonders, when will it become very insignificant? Of course, as long as we have bodies, we have to accept so many material things, but in the spirit of enjoyment, but not in the spirit of enjoyment, but only to keep body and soul together. This phrase, only to keep body and soul together, is readily recited by which personality in the ashram? Parama Karuna Prabhu. Every time he comes for prasadam, just a little bit more, just to keep the body and soul together. That's what he'll say. Glue it together. He means in this context. He means in this context, not so that in the spirit of enjoyment. Prasadam, we go to prasadam queue, we load up our trays, and then what do? Just like, oh yes, prasadam. Well, I wonder what delights they've got today. What have they made today in the kitchen, Prabhu? What's for prasadam? Is it for the mercy? Or is it to just fill our belly through the tongue? That is the key. If we want this mercy, it's actually not to fill the belly, but actually to understand this mercy is coming from none other than Krishna. It's not different to Krishna. And all this mercy, the books, the songs, the association, it's not to be taken for granted. It's so that we can develop this conjugal love, this mercy aspect of Krishna. I'm actually talking about, when I say all of these things, I'm talking about myself, because I'm the first one in the queue. It's like, oh yeah, give me some prasadam. Indeed. Yeah, some more milk and so on. Narottam Das, Srila Prabhupada explains, Narottam Das further says, Rupa Raghunath Pade Hoibi Akuti. Akuti, will come to that word again. When shall I be very much eager to study the books left by the 6 Goswamis? Akuti means eagerness. With eagerness. Because Rupa Goswami is the father of devotional service, he has written a book called Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, also known as Nectar of Devotion, in which there are nice directions on devotional service. These topics are also dealt within Chaitanya Charitamrita and other books. And we have given the summary of those directions in our books, Teaching of Lord Chaitanya. One has to learn of the conjugal affairs of Radha Krishna through the teachings of these 6 Goswamis. Shri Radha Gokulananda Bhagwan ki, Shitaram Lakshman Hanuman ki, Gaur Nitai ki, Srila Prabhupada ki. Just to finish off a couple of bits, but Narottam Das Thakur says, Vishaya chari be kabe Sudaha be mana kabe hamaheri bo Shri Vindavana. When the mind is completely purified, being freed from material anxieties and desires, then I shall be able to understand Vrindavan and the conjugal love of Radha and Krishna, and then my spiritual life will be successful. So that is the key, to obtain Kripa and Karuna with Akuti, i.e. eagerness, and that sincerity and feelings through these association of these Vaishnavas. So let's sing this bhajan. If you have it on your on your devices, and please look that up. Otherwise, you can just follow along. I'll try and do it justice. I'm sure others are far more qualified than me. Goranga bolite habe pulaka sharira Hari Hari bolite na yane bebanira Arakabe nitai chande koruna hoi be samsara bashena mora kabe tucha hoi be Samsara basna mora Vishaya shariya kabe sudaha mana kabe ham heri bo Shri Vindavana Raghunatha pade hoibe akuti kabe hama ujabo se yugala piriti Raghunatha pade rahu mora asha pratna karo ye sada narottam dasa Sharira Hari Hari bolite na bebe narira Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jaya Vaishnav Thakur, Vaishnav Thakur, Vaishnav Thakur, Jaya Vaishnav Thakur. Srila Narottam Das Thakur ki. Thank you so much. So I hope that was enlightening. So we can obtain mercy, as we said, also from other Vaishnavas. And so yesterday we had the disappearance of Srila Mahesh Pandit. I wanted to talk a little bit about this Vaishnava who also got mercy through association of Nityananda Prabhu, because we know Lord Nityananda is most merciful. So he was previously a very munificent cowherd boy, which has now appeared as Mahesh Pandit. In ecstatic love, he dances like a madman, as though intoxicated to the beat of the kettle drum, as described in Chaitanya Charitamrita Adi Leela 1132. According to Gora Gonadesha Dipika, Mahesh Pandit was formerly Maha Bahasukha in Krishna Leela. He was a companion of Nityananda Prabhu and was present at the Danda Maha Utsav held at Panihati. In Bhakti Ratnagar, Taranga 9, it is stated that when Narottam Das Thakur came to visit Khardaha, he had darshan of the lotus feet of Mahesh Pandit. You see, Narottam Das Thakur got darshans, got blessings of this, got mercy of this personality, and hence he was able to recite so many beautiful bhajans just so that we can also get this mercy. Vrindavan Das Thakur has described him as Parama Mahanta due to the fact that he was very dear to Nityananda Prabhu. And this is in Chaitanya Bhagavat Antya Leela 5744. Mahesh Pandit's original Sripad at Sukh Sagar merged into the bed of the Ganges, but his worshipful deities of Shri Shri Nitai Gauranga as well as his samadhi were removed to Palpara. There is a railway station there between Simrali and Chakda stations on the Seedal Krishnanagar line. His disappearance day was yesterday on the 13th day of the bright fortnight in the month of Posha. It's an amazing personality. If you get the chance to go and visit his samadhi, then by all means, please do. After lockdown, of course. So, the next personality, another Vaishnava we ought to take shelter of, his disappearance, on his disappearance day yesterday, Srila Udarana Datta Thakur. Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami has written, Udarana Datta Thakur, the 11th among the 12 cowherd boys, was an exalted devotee of Lord Nityananda Prabhu. Again, Lord Nityananda, most merciful. He worshipped the lotus feet of Lord Nityananda in all respects. Again, that's surrender. Without the surrender, there is no mercy. According to Gora Gonadesha Dipika, the devotee who was formerly known as Subahu in Braj and who was one of the cowherd boys in Vrindavan later appeared as in Gora Lila as Srila Udarana Datta. In his translation and commentary on Chaitanya Charitamrita, Adi Leela 1141, Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada writes, Udarana Datta Thakur, previously known as Sri Udarana Datta, was a resident of Saptagrama, which is situated on the bank of the Saraswati River near the Trishbanga railway station in the district of Hugali. At the time of Udarana Datta Thakur, Saptagram was a very big town encompassing many other places such as Vasudevpura, Bansyabedia, Krishnapura, Nityanandapura, Sivapura, Sahangaranagara, and Saptagram. Calcutta was developed under British rule by the influential mercantile community and especially by the Suvarnaka Vanik community who came from the Saptagrama to establish their businesses and homes all over Calcutta. They were known as the Saptagrami mercantile community of Calcutta, and most of them belonged to the Mulik and Sil families. More than half of Calcutta belonged to this community, as did Srila Udaranadatta Thakur. Our paternal family, this is Srila Prabhupada talking, our paternal family also came from this district and belonged to the same community. The Muliks of Calcutta are divided into two families, namely the Sil family and the Dey family, whose members, intimately connected with the Mohammedan rules, received the title Mulik. In the Chaitanya Bhagavat, Antya Khanda chapter 6, it is said that the Udaranadatta was an extremely elevated and liberal Vaishnava. He was born with the right to worship Nityananda Prabhu. It is also stated that Nityananda Prabhu, after staying for some time in Khandada, came to Saptagram and stayed in the house of Udaranadatta. The Suvarna Malik community to which Udaranadatta belonged was actually a Vaishnava community. Its members were bankers and gold merchants. Suvarna means gold and Vanik means merchant. Long ago, there was a misunderstanding between Balasen and the Suvarna Manik community because of the great banker Gauri Sen. Balasen was taking loans from Gauri Sen and spending money extravagantly, and therefore Gauri Sen stopped supplying money. Balasen took revenge by instigating a social conspiracy to make the Suvarna Malik community that was again elevated. It is said in the Chaitanya Bhagavat, Yateka vanike kula udarana haite, pavitra haila dvida nahike ihate. There is no doubt that all the community members of the Suvarna Vanik society were again purified by Nityananda Prabhu. So they had special mercy again of Lord Nityananda because that community were specially blessed by Lord Nityananda and they were purified. In Saptagram, there is still a temple with a six-armed deity of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Six-armed deity similar to the picture that we have above Ian Prabhu there. That was only personally worshipped by Srila Udaranadatta Thakur. On the right side of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is a deity of Sri Nityananda, and on the left side, Gadadhar Pandit. There's also a Radha Govinda Murti and a Shaligram Shila, and below the throne is a picture of Udaranadatta Thakur. In front of the temple, there is now a big hole, and in the front of the hole is a Madhava Lata plant. Temple is in a very cool shade, in a nicely situated location. When we returned from America in 1967, this is Prabhupada and all the disciples, the executive committee members of this temple invited us to visit it, and thus we had an opportunity to visit this temple with some American students. Formerly in our childhood, we visited this temple with our parents because all the members in the Suvarna Vanik community enthusiastically took interest in this temple of Udaranadatta Thakur. In Bengali year 1283, one Babaji in the name of Nitai Das arranged for a donation of 12 bighas of land for this temple. The management of the temple later deteriorated, but then in 1306, through the cooperation of the famous Balaram Mulik of Hugali, who was a sub-judge, and many rich Suvarna Manik community members, the management of the temple improved greatly. Not more than 50 years ago, one of the family members of Udaranadatta Thakur, named Jagamohan Datta, established a wooden deity of Udaranadatta Thakur in the temple, but that deity is no longer there at present. A picture of Udaranadatta is worshipped there. It is understood, however, that the wooden deity of Udaranadatta was taken away by Sri Madan Mohan Datta and is now being worshipped with a Shaligram Shila by Srinath Datta. This last couple of paragraphs. Udaranadatta Thakur was the manager of the estate of a big zamindar in Naihati. Zamindar are landowners, about 1.5 miles north of Katwa. The relics of this royal family are still visible near the Dainhata station. Since Udaranadatta Thakur was the manager of the estate, it was also known as Udaranapura. Udaranadatta Thakur installed Gaurnitai deities there that were later brought to the house of the zamindar, which was known as Vanayor Bida, Vanayor Rar Bada. Srila Udarana Thakur remained a householder through his life. His father's name was Shikardatta, his mother's name was Bhadravati, and his son's name was Srinivas Datta, like our Srinivas Prabhu here. Vrindavan Das Thakur writes as follows about Udarana Thakur in his Chaitanya Bhagavat. After Nityananda Prabhu stayed for many days in Kandahar, he went to Saptagram. There is a famous ghat at Saptagram at the confluence of the 3 rivers, which is celebrated as being the place of the 7 rishis, Sapta rishis. At that ghat, on the Ganges, the 7 rishis had once performed penances in order to attain the lotus feet of Govinda. 3 divine goddesses came together at that place, Yamuna, Saraswati and Jahnavi. These 3 goddesses of rivers join at the confluence of these 3 rivers. It is the most holy place in this world. One may be delivered from all his sins just by seeing that place. Nityananda Prabhu was extremely happy to see that place and bathe at that holy place with all the devotees. Udaranadatta was staying in the temple of the Lord on the banks of that river when Nityananda Prabhu came to the Triveni. When he saw Nityananda, he offered his mind, body, words to the holy feet of Nityananda and worshipped him without any duplicity in the heart. So here are key instructions as to how to surrender to the Lord with our mind, body, words, and without any duplicity in our minds. Sorry, I keep on knocking the mic. So if we are in that state of mind, that state of consciousness, then the mercy will most definitely flow. And with, like taking shelter of these kind of Vaishnavas, we get their blessings. And through their blessings, we obtain that mercy that we are so hankering, so that we can develop love for Shri Radha Gokulananda. So I'll finish just one last paragraph. In this way, Nityananda Prabhu performed various pastimes of Sankirtan in Saptagram, delivering the inhabitants of Saptagram as well as hundreds of their descendants within the Vanik community. In the same way that the towns and villages of Nadia were filled with happiness when Chaitanya and Nitai were performing Sankirtan, the Saptagram was filled with happiness as the pastimes of Lord Nityananda. After the disappearance of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Sri Nityananda Prabhu's Shakti, Sri Janava Mata came to Saptagram and visited the house of Udaranadatta Thakur. At that time, Udaranadatta Thakur had already passed away. As he passed away on the 13th day of the dark moon in the month of Posha. Srila Udaranadatta Thakur ki, Srila Mahesh Pandit ki. So I was going to sing another bhajan, Jaya Anila, but we run out of time. So I will end it there. Just quickly summarize. But we started the session off with mercy and understanding about eagerness, akuti, and how to attain that through the stories of these Vaishnavas, through Narottam Das Thakur and his amazing bhajans, and then through recitation of these amazing personalities such as Srila Mahesh Pandit and Srila Udaranadatta Thakur. Shukantara Srimad Bhagavatam ki. Any questions, chastisements, corrections? Please, by all means. Yes, Srinivas Prabhu.
You know, in the purport it says the 4 pillars.
Yes.
So, mercy is related to meat eating or intoxication?
So in the purport, it says intoxication, but it doesn't mention meat eating. If you look, it mentions the other 3. So in my understanding of this, that intoxication and meat eating, Srila Prabhupada is put as one and coded it under mercy.
Okay.
That's my understanding. Others may have a different understanding, but that's in the purport, because if you look, meat eating is not mentioned in the purport.
Okay.
Anyone else? Okay. Thank you very much. Kantraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki, Srila Prabhupada ki, Nitai Gaura Premanande.